Scooby-Doo, Scooby-Doo, Scooby-Doo.
On this episode of the History of the Chorus podcast with Curtis and Josh, we continue our look at the progressive metalcore band known as Between the Buried and Me. Make sure to follow us on Twitter at IsSurvivedByPro for news and latest episode postings. And make sure to subscribe to the show. Leave us a 5-star review and write us a comment on YouTube or whatever podcast service you're using. And if you'd like to see us do some live streams, leave us a comment or tweet us the keyword stream. Now, without further ado, let's start the show.
The devil is in Atlanta. Army surrounded.
We just need to throw some new ideas in. It will eventually get out of this closed-off circle we are a part of. Get out of this closed-off circle. Get out of this closed-off circle. It's all the same. This is all we have when we die. It's what's left of us when we die. We will be remembered for this. Welcome back to the History of the Chorus podcast, sponsored by the Church of Seven Track, where each and every episode we're taking a look at the history of a band from the core genre. Curtis, with me as always, is my co-host, Josh. What's going on, buddy?
Hello!
Top of the beanie to you.
Top of the beanie to you, lad.
I was not expecting that one, man. Oh, you beach bum, what's going on?
Not a lot. Not a lot. Breaking out the Christmas tree today.
Uh-oh. He's a little bit late.
Yeah.
I mean, at this point, is it even worth it?
I guess. It's tradition, Curtis.
Yeah, well, 2 weeks away, though. Not even 2 weeks, less than 2 weeks.
Yeah, but it usually stays up through New Year's.
I thought you were going to say through, like, spring.
No.
Like, we'll get around to it eventually. And then, like, before you know it, it's like, you know what? Why don't you just keep it up? Christmas is around the corner.
Yeah, fuck that. No.
Oh, man. Got the tree up, all decorated and whatnot.
Oh, yeah.
How are the cats liking that? They going all up in that thing?
Yeah.
Oh,
Tater's a swatter, and Sassy likes to lay underneath it on the tree skirt. So
nice. Nobody climbs up in it?
no, we don't have any
Oh,
climbers.
okay. I saw one where somebody they had cats and their cats wanted to climb the tree. So they decided one year, and it's like, why are you gonna do this? This is a bad idea. They decided to cut the tree into a smaller piece and just hang it from the ceiling so the cats couldn't climb on it. Well, I mean, they're cats, so they just, hop from stuff and then they end up, jumping to it and then swinging from it.
Okay.
And so they're gonna get to the tree, bro. Gonna get to
Yeah,
the tree.
they're gonna
one
figure
way
it
or
out.
another. They're gonna figure it. They're cats. They're gonna do it. They're gonna do it. Alrighty. Well, as always, Josh, why don't we talk about a little bit of what we listened to this week? I'll go ahead and start this between the buried and me. No, I really immersed myself in uh excuse me, the 4 albums that we're going to talk about tonight. Colors, Great to Misdirect, and the Parallax stuff. So I really didn't have time for anything else. How about you, Josh?
You know this one.
The heck is that? Fire Eyes.
Fire Eyes.
All right, what brought this one up?
Nothing really. I probably just listening to which album did I listen to of Zayo?
Oh, Crimson Corridor.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it's probably just listening to Crimson Corridor. But yeah, I had this one on a couple times this week.
I can
Um,
hear the pain, the screaming.
it is, of course, Zayo's Where Blood and Fire Bring Rest. And Curtis, we have an entire episode on Zayo where you can hear about this amazing album and all of their other amazing albums.
So we got was it three or four parts? Oh my God. I think it was four
Uh,
parts, dude.
was the four-parter?
I don't remember. It was three or four. It was long.
It was
I don't
long.
remember. It was a long one. Surely it was
It
just
was
three.
it was like the Coheed one. By the time you get out of it, you're just like, ugh. Like, are there other bands?
I think it was four. Because the first part was the first two albums that don't really count, and then this one. And
Yeah,
then I think the second one had I think the second one started out with like self-titled, kind of went through that like that awkward period with like only two or three members. And then I think we did Funeral through Awake for number three, and then the fourth one I think was like the newest. Um, what's it
yeah.
called?
There's four,
Yeah, okay.
four and an after hours.
Woo! And if I mean we both agreed this they have two albums before this one, but this is where Zayo really kicks off,
Oh yeah,
for sure. Because this is the Dan era. And we all know Dan is Zayo. There is no Zayo without Dan.
yeah. The Dan
So,
era is the only era
yeah. Do you have a favorite on there?
on Where Blood and Fire Bring Rest.
Yeah. Do you have like one that really stands out above the rest?
This is a big question, Curtis.
Oh, just got to pull up a track list. He's really not
Mm,
sure. I mean, I would assume probably the obvious answer to a lot of people would probably be the opening track, just because it
Well,
comes in so hard.
yeah. Lies of the Serpent, River of Tears, Fall Farewell, and Ravage Ritual. Those are the three hands down best tracks on the album.
Okay.
Everything else on the album's pretty good too, but those are the best tracks. Um, that is I want to say probably Lies. Probably Lies. Yeah, it's okay. It's a hard tie between Lies and Fall Farewell
Okay. Okay.
because I woke up one morning, Curtis, and he was dead.
And he was dead.
That was awesome. It just like started like right at that part.
Nice. Yeah, it's a good one. It's good, man.
Delicious.
Mm, delicious. Yeah. Nice. Okay, even harder question. Favorite album by Zayo?
Um, Probably Funeral.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, probably
Cool.
Funeral.
Well, if you want to learn more about Zayo, the band, if you want to learn more about our opinions
If you
on the band known
wanna,
as
if you want to hear
Zayo.
which episode or which album I said was my favorite in the episode, probably different from the one I just
I
said.
really honestly don't remember.
That's
There is a
it's
top
so hard,
five.
dude.
Yeah, there is
It's
a
like
top
every time I
five.
die, I'm like
Right,
from day to day, I'm like, oh yeah, Big Dirty's my favorite. I'm like, no, Gunner Phenomenon's my favorite.
right. There is a top five at the end of part four of your favorite album artworks from Zayo. I think Fear is number one. I'm pretty sure if I remember
Probably
correctly. Um,
either Fear or Crimson Corridor because they're like the
yeah, I
most
can't remember
brutal.
if I want to say Crimson was on there. And then I know where Fire and Blood Bring Rest was on there.
Or
I
Blood and
want to
Fire bring rest.
say, yeah, What did I say? Or Fire and Blood?
Yeah.
Oh, my bad.
Where
I
George
think
R. R.
I.
Martin's Fire and Blood bring
Oh my
rest.
God. A forward by George R. R. Martin. Hey, he'd be around by then. He's writing books. Um, I'm pretty sure that what's the album after self-titled? Can't remember what it's called. All I can think of is The Buzzing and Pirate's Prayer, but that's not the album title. You remember what I'm talking about?
What's on the cover?
Oh my gosh, I almost had it. Parade of Chaos. I'm pretty sure
Oh,
Parade
okay.
of Chaos was one of them. That's four. What would be the fifth one? Probably, I don't know if Funeral was on there or not.
I don't
Maybe
think so because I just think it's kind of
just
boring.
bland. What about maybe it was Well-Intentioned Virus? Or no, it was Pyrrhic, the EP after Virus.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, because that's a sick one.
Yeah.
Yeah. But anyway, enough of us trying to remember. Just go listen to it. Just shut up and go listen to it, man. It's a good four-parter. It's long, but it's good, man. It's a great band to talk about anyway. Hey, speaking of top fives, Josh, just want to give another reminder. We're another week closer, and this is going to be next week, actually, when we finish up Between the Buried and Me. Josh is also going to have his top five eras from bands that we have discussed on this very podcast right here. Are you making any progress? You starting to figure it out, Josh?
No. Is this
He's like, I am procrastinating.
so is this supposed to be like a new list based on the bands we've done since then, or is
No,
it supposed to be just
you add
overall?
yeah, overall, you add all the bands we did this year
Okay. I'm basically just
with the bands we've
seeing
already talked about.
Okay, I'm basically just seeing
Yeah,
if any of the bands that we've talked about since then
right,
knock out any of the ones I put in my top five.
right. Maybe even, you know what, we might even want to just kind of make it interesting. You might want to make it like a top seven so you can add some new bands, you know what I'm saying?
Okay.
That way,
Yeah, because if
that way it doesn't just being like, yeah, nothing
it's the
changed. All right, well, we'll
same.
see.
Yeah.
All right, scratch that. Josh's top seven eras from bands we've covered so far.
You get an extra
Uh,
two every year.
There you go. Yeah, I like that. I like that's a good idea. All right, an extra two every year. Eventually, it'll be Josh's top 57 pairs from bands we discussed. Like, oh God, man. All right, at number 40. Oh, jeez.
Uh, Dear
Uh,
Casey, aren't you dead?
right. All righty. Okay. Before we get into it, Josh, Coheed Corner, any news? Any updates?
No, no,
Nothing?
no updates.
No, you still haven't received your hat with goggles yet?
No, I mean that
Uh,
stuff's not
it would
coming.
be it would be hilarious if you got just like a bicycle helmet, somebody straps some like swimming goggles to it or
Okay,
something. Be
yeah.
like, what the heck, man?
No,
Oh man.
the one in the picture for it looks awesome. So we'll
Right,
see.
I'm just saying like it'd be funny if like accidentally you went onto like a counterfeit site and you give your money for that. Like,
No.
seriously, this is what you get? What the heck, man?
No, I mean album doesn't drop until March,
Yeah.
so we holding out till then.
Alrighty. All right,
It's
let's
just gonna be a late birthday present to myself.
yeah, oh my God. Oh, that's right. Happy birthday to me.
Hey!
Yay. All right, today we are continuing our look at the band known as Between the Buried and Me. When we last left off, the band had released their album Alaska. And their current lineup looked like this: Tommy Giles on vocals, Paul Wagner on guitar, Dusty Waring on guitar, Dan Briggs on bass, and Blake Richardson on drums. And that's the lineup.
I just
This is it.
realized that he was also the solo project Giles.
Yes. Yep. Yep. Yep.
Just realized that just now, just in
Hmm.
this moment.
That's pretty sad. Oh God. Alrighty. Yeah, that's the lineup. It's set up until this point. So sweet. No more member changes or anything like that. We don't have to talk about. We don't have to waste our time. No culinary school or whatever. I
Just
want to
making
go be a
music.
priest. Yeah, just making music, man.
We'll see how much time that cuts out of this, not having to talk about guys leaving the band and then coming
Right.
back.
Uh, the beginning of 2007 would see the band finish out touring, and by spring, they would head back into the studio to record their next album that the band described as a quote, 65-minute opus of non-stop, pummeling, beautiful music. We have described this release as new wave polka grunge and adult contemporary progressive death metal.
Adult Contempo.
Do you agree with that, Josh?
Dude, I don't know what's
Wholeheartedly.
going on through most of the all four of these albums. It's all over the place. I
The
love it. I
madness,
think it's
man.
great. And like they do it in a way that I don't think anybody else could.
I'm about to say it's them,
Yeah,
right?
very unique to them.
Right.
Um, but yeah, there's like times over this where um there'll be kind of like there'll be like jungle noises happening and like just like drums playing, you know? And then there's like another part where they were all like in a bar, it sounded
Yep, yep.
like.
And the hoedown.
Yeah, the hoedown.
Yeah.
Then there's another one too that I can't remember what that one made me think of. But like the just like these
Yeah, I'm at the
random
hoedown right now.
okay.
That's funny.
Just like these random things that they've decided to do. But it works for them.
Yeah. Yeah. All right, let's get into it, Josh. Let's talk about 2007's Colors from Victory Records, produced by Jamie King. As we talked about in the last episode, he's kind of thought of as the sixth member of Between the Buried and Me because he's produced almost all of their albums. So he's kind of another part of the band there. His album sold 12,600 copies in its first week of sales, reaching number 57 on the Billboard 200, making it the first time the band had breached the top 100. And this album would be named the best album of the year by Ultimate Guitar in its annual This Year in Metal. Although this album is separated into 8 tracks, the album gives the impression of one continuous song with transitions between each track, which means me like you, Josh. Me like you a lot.
Yeah, it was like really hard to tell if I like wasn't looking at my phone for a while, like
Right.
where we were. And I could tell like maybe it had slipped into another track, but I really had to keep an eye on like when I got close to the end of the album because I was like, oh, it's just gonna slip into something else and I'm never gonna know. You know, if it's between the buried and me, I'm not gonna know.
Right,
So
exactly. Yeah. Does that annoy you sometimes? Yeah, sometimes, like I like it, but sometimes I would like to at least like have the feeling of, okay, I think it is transitioning into a new track, you know?
right. Um, I think for every song, maybe for like one album, that would be cool.
Yeah,
But they do it kind of over like the next few albums, it feels like.
right.
And yeah, it would be nice to have some songs where one just ended and then like the next song, okay, like now start the next one.
I mean, at least I know, like on this album, at least I know when Decade of Statues ends and Informal Gluttony begins because it's that hard, boom, dun, dum, 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 So at least
Yeah.
I can tell on that one. But yeah, uh, from like Son of Nothing to Ants in the Sky to prequel, even into like White or Viridian, sometimes it's kind of hard. It's like, okay, where's the end of this song? When's
Oh,
the
I
new one
passed it.
coming
That was like a
out?
minute
Oh,
ago. Okay,
that was 2 songs ago. Okay, my
yeah,
bad.
yep,
Shame on me for not paying attention.
yep.
Andrew Miller of altpress.com wrote a short review of the album stating, quote, "Between the Buried and Me's colors cover so much musical terrain, listeners might feel phantom physical fatigue. It's essentially one 65-minute song broken into 8 tracks for convenience and bookend by a serene piano solo, and this mammoth composition incorporates grinding metal, jazzy syncopation, exotic snake charming melodies, dream sequence psychedelics, choppy hardcore, and a country hoedown. Epic journeys demand dramatic tension, which the group's harmonic guitars deliver with triumphant resonance. Every dual axe salvo feels as climactic as a grandiose good and evil showdown in a fantasy film. Tommy Rogers growls through much of the record, making his clean vocals seem gorgeously fragile. When he sings hazily about floating in Son of Nothing and flying in Ants of the Sky, the tunes take entrancing hallucinatory detours. Colors gets immensely heavy at times in both the staggered breakdown and thrash blitzkrieging senses of the term, but Between the Buried and Me have evolved into a progressive band in the truest sense of the word, an alchemic group who concoct an innovative multi-genre fusions rather than a metal outfit with experimental pretensions. During the closing track, White Walls, Rogers chants the present epitaph: "We will be remembered for this." Not only will metal/hardcore fans remember Colors, they might be still struggling decades down the line to fully comprehend its brilliance. Songs on this album include Foamborn, A, the backtrack,
Phone boy.
B, Phone Boy. B, the decade of statues, informal gluttony, son of nothing, ants of the sky, prequel to the sequel, featuring Adam Fisher of Fear or Fear Before the March of Flames, the instrumental track of Viridian, and the finale, White Walls. Tell me a little more, Josh, about your thoughts on Colors.
I don't know. I know it's
Did you see the
over.
colors while listening to this album,
I
Colors?
didn't.
Oh,
But it was my favorite, I think, out of the four that we
cool.
listened to for this one. Um, I didn't realize that they had so much like southern stuff, like so many like really southern riffs. And I don't remember if it was in this one or if it was in the next one, but there were some that I was like, "Oh my God, somebody's paying tribute to Maylene here,"
That's
because
okay. It's the next one because I was gonna say on it's Desert of Song to me because there's some like steel guitar
okay.
kind of stuff in there, and I'm like, this sounds like they've been listening to Maylene, and it sounds like a finisher on a Maylene album, you know?
Yep. There
I was
were
like, what the
times where I
heck,
was like,
man?
this is like a mailing track. This,
Yeah,
yeah.
exactly. Yeah.
But dude, just brutal as hell. Like so like very technical, but like really good. Not it's not like off-putting in any way. Like all of the albums I listened to, there was not a single time where I was like, well, I think I can probably, you know, like the whole time I was just
Just
like,
hit
nah,
that skip.
I want to hear more. So,
Right.
especially Colors. Like Colors, I think is probably my favorite out of this block.
Well, good for you. There's a sequel, Colors 2. We'll talk about it in the next episode. So,
Woo!
woo!
And then I told you before we started that the live version of Colors, like you barely tell a difference. Definitely not in his vocals. His vocals sound exactly the same studio recorded as they do live.
Right.
So
Yeah, which is a
impressive.
testament that it
You
transitions
can
over.
color me, Curtis. Impressed.
Oh my God.
I said what I said.
Well, there's no taking back. It's on recording. I could edit it out, but I'm not going to. So I want it on the record. Okay.
Because I don't really want to. Can't really seem to find a way around that.
Any standout tracks to you, Josh? I
Obviously
mean, I know there's
foam.
only like what 8 tracks, but
Right. Obviously foam. I think that's like a really cool way to start the album.
yeah,
Definitely not
that's a
what you'd
good intro.
expect
Yeah,
coming off of
right.
Alaska, you know.
Yeah, speak a little clearer into the mic, please.
Oh, I'm sorry. Am I not
You're pretty far away. I
hello.
can barely hear you.
Hello. Um
You're too relaxed over there, man.
I think I think foam's a really cool way to start the album, especially coming off of Alaska. Um Decade of Statues is really good. I like the, if you can even call it like a transition between Ants of the Sky and prequel to sequel. I like the way a prequel to sequel begins. That's what I was like dancing to earlier. Yeah.
Yeah, oh yeah, that's a good one.
But I think those are my top ones.
Okay.
Um, yeah. Foam, Decade, Ants, and then prequel.
Yeah.
What about you?
I gotta go with overall, it's my favorite album by Between the Buried and Me. Um I gotta go with the middle run from Son of Nothing through prequel. That's a good run to
Okay.
me, man. I love that. Um, but yeah, overall, it's a great album. I can listen to this one over and 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 over. So,
You know,
did I
it's
mention
funny
over?
on the later albums, there's a like points where I'm like, am I did this switch over to like Arsonist Get All the Girls? It's like so heavy with like the crazy synth and stuff.
Okay. Okay. Interesting. Are you talking about like in the Parallax albums?
I think so.
Okay. But because you haven't gone any further than that though, right?
No, just
Okay. But I just
Parallax
want to
one
make
and
sure
two.
that's what you meant. Okay. Yeah, I just want to make sure that's what you meant. Alrighty. That was 2007's The Colors. Be on the lookout for the sequel, Colors 2, in the next episode, The Electric Boogaloo. Success from their newest album saw the band take to the road alongside Animosity, Horse, the band, and Giant, finishing out the year by making an appearance. Exactly. An appearance at the Saints and Sinners Fest in Asbury Park, New Jersey, and headlining a tour with support by August Burns Red and, behold, Octopus. You ever heard of them?
Nope.
Me either. I was like, okay.
Behold Octopus.
Arctopus.
Oh, Arctopus.
ARC. ARCTOPUS.
Arctopus.
Arctopus. Yeah, I
Stupid.
don't
Stupid.
know. I meant to look them up, but I forgot.
I came up with a good band name the other day. Bad
I
News
was
for
here.
Becca.
Ooh. So I feel like that's probably already used. I don't know
What?
why.
No way.
Did you look it up?
Nah.
Did you trademark it? Too
No,
much
I just
work.
said it here, so that's probably not great.
It's on record. Somebody's like, write that down quick. 2008 brought more touring opportunities to the band as they would be the main support on the Dillinger Escape Plans UK tour, as well as playing the very first Progressive Nation '08 festival. In August of 2008, the band would record their live set at the Rock Town in Nashville, Tennessee, later releasing it as a CD/DVD combo entitled Colors Live, featuring 2 sets, one of the album's colored, played in its entirety, and the other filled with songs from the rest of their discography as voted on by the fans. Did you find it?
It is not a band.
Okay. Well, it's about to be.
Yeah,
Somebody,
it's
somebody's
over
gonna
now.
steal it. The band would finish out the year touring all across the US into Canada and even making a run through Australia. But by the spring of 2009, the band was ready to hunker down once again inside the studio to record their next album, 2009's The Great Misdirect. Nice. I like that. You got more?
Oh yeah, we got them
All
all.
right. From Victory
And then I'm ready
Records.
just in case for.
Coheed. Yeah, exactly. I gave you the chance earlier. I said A news
Yeah,
from
I'm
Coheed
waiting. I'm
Corner.
just waiting on some breaking news to come through.
Okay. Are you just gonna like, oh wait, oh, we got breaking
Whoa!
news.
Breaking news!
Produced by Jamie King. It debuted at number 36 on the Billboard 200. Described by frontman Tommy Rogers as, quote, some of the best material we've ever created. Oh, God, that's not good. It's never
Yeah,
good.
you
Never
can't
good when you
say
say
that.
that. Things a band member should never say. While also commenting on the band's longest song, Swim to the Moon, calling it a companion piece to Son of Nothing. I don't know why I keep wanting to say Son of the Nothing. Son of Nothing.
Son of
Ah,
the nothing.
I think I keep on like in my mind, I keep going to like no son of mine, type,
Okay.
you know. But anyway, Son of Nothing. And sun, like the sun in the sky, not sun. Anyway, from their previous album Colors, and also calling Swim to the Moon the prequel to the Parallax saga, which would follow this album. I mean, we kind of mentioned it in the last episode, Josh, because there's talks of Lost Perfection A and B from Silent Circus, prequel to the sequel from Colors, and then Swim to the Moon all being like tied to the concept story on the Parallax albums.
Uh-huh.
I'm just going to tell you straight up. It's confusing. It's not Coheed and Cambria, so you're probably going to be disappointed with it. And I could give you a big synopsis if you want me to. I could probably give you a short one too, but it's just like there's a couple of times where I was like trying to read through some of it and I'm like, "Wait, what is happening?" I'm like I got to restart again because it's just like all over the place. It's like messy, you
Okay.
know?
Well, first, last week I read through the lyrics on
Mhm.
all those songs, and I couldn't see a way that they like tied together. Give
Right.
me a short synopsis
Of the
of what
parallax.
this, yeah, of what this is
Okay.
supposed to be about.
So, okay, where did I go with that? Oh, wait, whoa, 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 whoa. Hold on. Wait a minute. Because I think I had it written down, a shorter one. Okay. So this is talking about the EP that comes first, but the EP is supposed to go with the full length. EP is the beginning of the concept story, which would be continued in the next full length album, written from the perspective of two characters Prospect One, who is a seemingly normal citizen, and Prospect Two, who is a space pilot tasked with planting human souls on a new planet. That's just kind of like the short synopsis of it, but there's a deal of like somehow their paths cross and I don't know. Like I said, I could read you like a longer version. It's really long. I could probably send it to you actually. Actually, if you go to their Wikipedia page, because you could do this while I'm doing other things. But if you go to their Wikipedia page and it's the if you go to the album Parallax 2, there's like a full concept um writing on there of like what's actually supposed to be going on. And the whole deal with like the other stuff or the other songs like Swim to the Moon, prequel, sequel, yada yada yada, it's very like loosely. It's not like in concrete, hey, these songs go with this. There's a lot of like speculation with it. But again, one of the things I had read on like a Reddit board, somebody was saying that it's not, and I this is what I was saying about like the Coheed deal. It's not a Coheed thing where like he's very dedicated to like writing a story about this, you know.
Right.
This is very, as somebody described it, very messy and kind of left cryptic and open-ended for a reason. I guess more of like interpretation, I guess. But like I said earlier, I read some of this concept and storyline, and I'm just like, wait, what is going on? I gotta like start all over again because like I'm getting so confused on like what is happening here. I need a comic to go with it. So maybe we could get Claudio
Okay.
on this. Maybe you could help him out. But anyway, we'll get more into that when we get into those two albums here in just a moment. But back to Great Misdirect here. Tyler Munro of SputnikMusic.com wrote a review on the album stating, quote, "The Great Misdirect is very much a structural refinement of colors. It's in the same vein, but better in every way. Like its predecessor, The Great Misdirect also starts with a softer number, but unlike Foamborn, Mirrors feels like a fully developed song instead of a passing thought. The Great Misdirect also ends with a long-running epic, but we'll get to that later. First, I want to revisit those aforementioned wacky parts. You know the ones I'm referring to, the bungle-esque philandering in Son of Nothing, and the Chevenel revisiting Bluegrass from Ants of the Sky. Technically speaking, those parts were well done, but they were totally pointless in the context of the songs, and they tragically cheapened what was otherwise the best one-two punch on the album. It felt like the band was laughing at us, showing off with a mildly retarded charm reminiscent of Mad TV's Stewart. Look what I can do, repeated over and over and over. As an indicator of the refinement that took place between albums, the wackiness actually takes center stage on Fossil genre. But it's a flip of the script when its swinging circus aesthetic fits more comfortably within their sound than genre typical instrumental flexing. No, the Great Misdirect's flow isn't chopped by left of center Pattonisms, but what I like to call the Prague Nation effect. No song makes this more evident than the 18-minute and 10 minutes too long Swim to the Moon. Sure, it's never as disorganized as Black Rose Immortal or as outrightly terrible as any of Dream Theater's epics, but it's still pretty self-indulgent and way too long. Which isn't to say the extraneous parts fall at the end. No, Swim to the Moon drags its feet through its midway, pulling the listener through minutes of ego filleting shred. It's not the solos, keys and guitars primarily, that flirt with tastelessness. It's the very presence. Barring Tommy's epileptic noodling, Swim to the Moon masturbatory interlude serves its purpose. Instrumentally speaking, it's impressive, but the fact remains that its purpose is non existent. We already knew they could play their instruments. As a result, Swim to the Moon is an already long song made even longer by a tasteless jam session. It would work in a live setting, giving the band room to really show their stuff and have some fun for once. On the album, it's superfluous, showy, and in the end, pretty stupid. Even still, Swim to the Moon is still a good song. It does a good job at establishing dynamics toward the end, when you expect it to follow suit with Alaska and Colors in its use of a cacophonous breakdown. Well, the breakdown is still there, and it still sounds the exact same as it did on Colors, but the track actually ends on a surprisingly mellow note, reusing the same riff that introduces the song in different contexts, from the Blue Man Group-like beginning to heavier and ever Western sounding flares, helps keep the song afloat and keys the listener back into the song, but it saves the song falling completely off the map. It doesn't excuse the long-winded self-indulgences. But like I said, Swim to the Moon isn't a bad song. In fact, there are no bad songs on The Great Misdirect, a fact which may be as much of a testament to each track's variety and extended runtime than anything. Munro finishes his review by saying, quote, "While some of the band's lingering faults poke their heads in throughout the album's hour of power derp, they're less of an issue than ever. There are fewer awkward, forced transitions than before. The only one that comes immediately to mind is what separates Disease, Injury, Madness, and Fossil Genre. And each song works as well on its own as it does in the overall scheme of things." Tommy's vocals are better than ever. His throat doesn't sound like it's exploding when he goes harsh, and his cleans aren't as robotic and post-processed as they've been in the past. There's also less of him than ever, something that should appease the skeptics. Blake finally learned some unique drum patterns for the heavier parts, and most importantly, each song finally feels like it has a distinct beginning, middle, and end. Between the Buried and Me have refined their sound and improved their songwriting tenfold. And while The Great Misdirect may not match the Silent Circus's raw energy and intensity, it might be the most coherent album yet. Songs on this album include Mirrors, Obfuscation, Disease, Injury, Madness, Fossil Genera, A Feed from Cloud Mountain, Desert of Song, and the finale, Swim to the Moon, featuring their roadie, Chuck Johnson. Well, Josh, I don't want to hear yet what you think of, well, you can't hear me, right?
Yeah.
Okay, I just want to make sure. I didn't know if you muted me so you could read all that. But anyway, I don't want to hear just yet the storyline and everything like that with the parallax stuff. Put a pause on that for just a moment and talk to me about Great Misdirect. Oh no, he's going to continue on reading. Okay. I can just, yeah, that's what I'm saying, man. It's like, okay, this just seems like all over the place, man.
Honestly, it just seems kind of dumb. Um, I really like
Your
make great.
expectations are too high with Coheed.
Yeah, I really like Great Misdirect. There's I think it was ob obfu obfus
It's hard to say, man.
obfuscation.
Yeah.
Um, they had a couple really cool riffs in it that I liked. Let me see if I saved any
I
from
love
this
that.
one. But I
Speaking of
mean,
that one, I
there's
love the very
there's
end when it like brings it back though. We will always be part of the great Mr. X.
yep,
Like, oh shoot, okay.
yep.
It's like it's announcing, here we are, this is the album, right?
And then this is the one too where there's like, a lot of really cool kind of southern moments on it too.
Yeah, yeah. How you like the opener on Fossil Genera? Dun 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 dun
Oh
dun
yeah, yeah.
dun 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 dun
I forgot about
dun
that.
dun dun dun. Like, what is happening? Yeah,
Yeah,
craziness, man.
they're all
Craziness.
over the place. But like I said, I don't think anybody else could do all these different things on an album and it work for anybody else.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, we
First of
didn't
all, you
even
have to have somebody on synth to make most of this work.
oh yeah. We didn't even really mention it in the last one. At the end of Informal Gluttony when it's like kind of like that jungle music and then the last second you hear the monkey. It's like, what
Well,
the
I mentioned it
Oh, did you mention
earlier, but
okay,
yeah.
okay. Yeah. Um well and then I forgot to prequel to the sequel towards the end of it just before Adam Fisher comes in from Fear Before on his guest vocal spot. It's kind of like that break, and they're doing kind of the organ, the grind organ type thing.
Okay.
Dun, 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 dun. It's like, oh, what the heck? Um, yeah, I will say I love Swim to the Moon. Yeah, I'm not a fan of
Dude,
the
that
roadie coming
song
in to start
title
that though.
though, it just makes me think of Arsonist Get All the Girls.
Swim to the Moon. Okay,
Yeah.
cool.
Like that would
Cool.
be that would be a name of one of their songs or
Yeah. Um. Overall, it's a good. I think it's again a good front to back album. I don't think I was like. I don't think I was disappointed when it came out, but coming off of Colors, because I got Colors when it came out, and then I got this. I got this one when it came out, but I think just like being like so infatuated with Colors, it was like,
right.
yeah, it's still good. Still really good, and it still hits good today. Um, But yeah. Yeah. Anything else, Josh, on Great Misdirect?
Um, I don't think so.
What's a better intro, Foamborn or Mirrors?
Oh, Foamborn.
What? Can't hear you.
Foam Boys.
Okay. Please speak into the microphone.
The Foam Boys.
All righty.
Yeah, Great
Uh,
Misdirect is good. It's like, I don't know, being on the backside of colors. Yeah, I think it hurts it a little bit, you know?
yeah. We talk about it all the time, the Davey Havoc quote, man. You know,
Yeah.
it's hard. It's hard to follow something like
We
that.
will be defined by this.
Following the release of their newest album, Between the Buried and Me would hit the road over the next couple of years, playing alongside such bands as I Lay Dying, Under Oath, War of Ages, Cancer Bats, Lamb of God, Job for a Cowboy, Hey Breed, The Ocean, as well as many others. With their contract up at Victory Records, the band would decide to shop themselves around to other labels. Goodbye, Victory Records.
So
We
long.
hardly knew you. As a final farewell from their time at Victory Records, the label would release Best of, a greatest hits album of songs from their albums while at Victory Records. So that would be Silent Circus through Great Misdirect, excluding self titled, because that came out on Life Force Records. It was at the same time of that release the band would announce they had signed with Metal Blade Records and would quickly release a new quote unquote EP for a debate.
Which is crazy to me because I feel like they're just not, like, they're not necessarily Metal Blade material.
Okay.
They're
Okay.
a little
What?
too
Why do you say that?
goofy, I feel like, for Metal Blade.
Too
And
goofy.
like a lot of
Okay.
the stuff that they do,
Metal Blade's too serious.
you're not gonna hear a bar scene or
Maybe
a
that's why
monkey
Metal
in the
Blade wanted them, though.
background screaming in the jungle in a Job for a Cowboy song, you know?
You might.
You're not going
Never say
to. I'm
never.
telling you, you're not. I'm
Never
telling you,
say
you're not.
never. Maybe that's why Metal Blade wanted them, though. They wanted somebody that's going to stand out from the crowd.
Perhaps.
It's a business decision, Josh. Let's talk about 2011's The Parallax Hypersleep Dialogues, quote unquote EP from Metal Blade Records.
It's not even.
Produced, that's why I said that. Produced by David Bottrill, who has done work with Circus Survive, Tool, Fair to Midland, and many others. And of course, you got to bring Jamie King along with you. The EP, as I described earlier, is at the beginning of a concept story with written from the perspective of two characters: Prospect One, who is seemingly a normal citizen, and Prospect Two, who is a space pilot tasked with planting human souls on a new planet. Jason Lyman Grover of AllMusic.com describes the EP as an quote EP that cobbles together enough intricate twists and turns that it feels massive, and each of the three songs is an epic journey in precision. The concept plays out like a compact version of what System of a Down did on their Mesmerize, Hypnotize suite, combining wild signatures,
Mm,
scales, drastic genre shifts
so good.
from one minute to the next, and syrupy vocals that erupt into roars. More than three songs of this caliber would be exhausting, so an intermission to break up this prog metal opera feels necessary. Songs on this album include Specular Reflection, Augment of Rebirth, and Lunar Wilderness. I was wrong on the last episode, Josh. I thought I had only listened through Great Misdirect. I actually listened to this EP when it came out, and I don't think it was so much of like I just didn't like it or anything, or I got turned off by it. I think I was just like at that time in my life, my tastes were just kind of changing. It was, Between the Buried and Me just kind of took a back seat to other things.
Right.
But anyway, story aside, Josh, let's talk music. Because what was there really to talk about with the
Okay,
story?
well, let me tell you basically what I read over
Yeah.
and my general. So, like you said, the two main characters, Prospect One, Prospect Two. One of them seems to be a pilot, and in my opinion, the other guy is one of the souls that he created on a different planet.
Okay.
Because I don't know how this guy gets from Earth where he lived. Prospect One gets lost at sea. How does he go off planet? Because when Prospect 2 finds him, he's he's on a planet that Prospect 2 is like putting new souls on,
Yeah.
and he basically wakes up as a city is being built around him. And so, yeah, that's why I think that Prospect
He
1 is
created him.
created like
Okay.
he's created by Prospect 2.
Okay.
Um Story's stupid. Yeah, I don't care. I don't care for the story. The night owls, all that stuff. I don't
Yeah,
care about
that part
any of
really
that. It's
lost me. I was like,
dumb.
what?
It's dumb. Um, that being said, I feel like this is a really good album, not an EP. It's an album. There's at least like 10 tracks worth of songs here. They're just they're really long, three
Uh,
tracks. Um, but dude, they don't ever like it doesn't feel like we take a step down at all, you know? It felt like we were like on the rise with and then colors we kind of hit a peak and then I feel like we just kind of hit like a straight line where like everything from colors has been at least on the same level, but I don't think Great Misdirect like hit you as hard because it wasn't 10 times better than colors,
it
you
just
know?
colors set the bar and it just stayed there. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, I
And so
agree.
that's how I feel about Parallax 1 and 2 because it's just like
Oh, is that how you
it
say it? Parallax? That was
that's how it's spelled.
parallax.
Oh yeah, I guess.
Oh, okay.
What yeah,
Don't do
whichever
that to
way.
me. Don't do that to me.
Parallax. Um yeah,
Periphery.
like you said, we get up to this point and then it just stays steady. I'm excited for Colors 2 and some of these later albums because I want to see if that bar continues to go up. Because I feel like most of this, it starts with Colors hitting that new high point, but the rest of this has just been on par with Colors.
Yeah. Sorry, I'm trying to find something. Uh, why is this not? Ah, this is riveting. I win.
Okay.
Parallax. Anyway, I was right. Yes. Well, that's the EP. It's supposed to be the beginning of the new story. So let's talk about 2012's Parallax 2 feature sequences from Metal Blade Records. Produced by, can you guess? Jamie King.
What?
What? Dave Donnelly of AllMusic.com wrote a short review on the album stating, quotes, Between the Buried and Me's 2007 album Colors marked a departure for the band from the expansive technical death metal of its earlier career into more progressive rock-influenced territory. Released in 2009, The Great Misdirect redefined Between the Buried and Me's new approach, and their split from Victory Records that year afforded them the freedom to further push the limits of progressive death metal. The companion piece to last year is the Parallax. I'm not going to let you do this to me. The
Almost got you.
Parallax. Ah, you almost got me. To last year's The Parallax Hypersleep Dialogues. The Parallax 2 future sequence is the slickest and best paced of their latter era releases. And at over 70 minutes in length, the sugary sweet choruses and serene jazz rock interludes are necessary to break up the relentless energy of tracks like Astral Body. Conscious of making the record flow more seamlessly, the Parallax 2 begins with Goodbye to Everything, a short intro piece on acoustic guitar that sees frontman Tommy Rogers sing a layered melody so sickly sweet it could almost be lifted from a fun record, while interludes like Autumn and Parallax, as well as the Goodbye to Everything reprise outro, proceed along similar lines. The meat of the album is closer to what we've come to expect from the North Carolina five-piece. 10-plus minute death metal epics, of which Melting City and the sci-fi themed Extremophile Elite are the picks. Rogers' guttural growls sound more menacing than ever, and what the album lacks in originality, it makes up for with feverishly inventive riffs and melodies, making the Parallax 2 Future Sequences the band's most inspired release since Alaska. Songs on this album include, I knew you were going to like that. Songs on this album include Goodbye to Everything, Astral Body, Lay Your Ghost to Rest, the instrumental track Autumn, Extremophile Elite, Parallax, The Black Box, Telos, Bloom, Melting City, Silent Flight, Parliament, and the finale, Goodbye to Everything, reprise. Musically, Josh, because again, we already know what you think about the story. It's not Coheed. It's no Claudio Klingang or whatever whatever his name was. I forget. What? Huh?
Did you say Claudio Clendane?
Something like that.
Did you
I
mix
knew what I said.
Claudio Sanchez with the Cleganes from Game of
Sure.
Thrones?
Sure. What was the name? Forget.
Claudio Sanchez.
No, no. What was the character's name from the story?
The Cleganes are Sandor and Gregor, the Mountain and the Hound.
From the Coheed story, you idiots.
Oh, wait, the Cleganes?
Yeah.
There are no Cleganes. That's Game of
no.
Thrones.
Who is the main character in the story?
Claudio.
Oh my God. What's his last name?
Do
Did
they
he have
have
a
a
last
last name?
Oh my God.
Is it Kilgannon?
Kilgannon? Coheed Corner,
Maybe?
Coheed Corner, Coheed Corner.
Going corner.
Crap. Anyway, I don't even remember what I was saying now. Yeah. Musically.
It's a hit. I mean, like I said,
Is it gold, Jerry? Is it gold?
yeah, that's gold. It's right in your Q zone, Curtis. Um, yeah, it's like I said earlier, like we're keeping consistent. There is no drop off here. But I have a similar feeling listening to this album as I did listening to Job for a Cowboy's Sun Eater, where I'm like, we're not really doing a whole lot new here. You know?
That's one of my problems when we get into this genre, or like the genre, like, and I talked about it before when we did like Impending Doom, like the deathcore stuff. It gets to a point where it's like it just all sounds kind of the same, you know?
Well,
Not
and
really a copy and paste, but it's like nothing, because like you're saying like earlier about like here's colors, we're rising, colors hit it, and then now we're just kind of we're not going up, we're not really going down, we're just kind of, and that's cool, but eventually that's gonna like lose me. And I'm
yeah.
really worried about listening to like the next one, Coma Ecliptic and Automata, I think is what it's called. I'm just kind of worried about listening to those because I'm just like, is this gonna be like just the same? Because I don't want to
Who
lose it.
who are you worried about that with?
Between the Buried and Me, that's the
Oh,
next couple
okay.
that we're gonna listen to.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Um, there's a really cool part in Extremophile where it's like the same riff like a couple times through, and the drums just doing like a really long like fill through the whole thing, and it's right before the line "carve one's skin out of their own soil."
I was trying to find it real quick. Oh, whoa, 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 whoa. Okay, I'll just do that. Okay, yeah, whatever. Stupid thing. Oh, here we go. I'm
It's
getting
like
to it.
140 is where it starts.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Shh. Yeah, yeah. Shut up. uh,
So good. So there's like
that's a yeah.
I
That's
kept
a bad
finding
thing.
myself listening to this one every time I would start to feel like that, like, oh, maybe this feels a little bit stale. Then they'd hit me with something like that where I'm just like immediately like, oh, okay, all right. So I feel like I'm still hopeful. Like I'm still hopeful for the next album.
Yeah.
They've not let me down yet. That's a tall order for us,
Okay,
Curtis. To
so
like at this point in your discography to not be letting us down a little bit.
yeah, can I tell you musically, I think it's separate, but I mean, we have this story. The next album, I don't remember exactly, but I think it's a deal of like he's kind of playing with this idea of a story of what if you could see people's dreams like it's a television show. Like, okay, yeah, all right. And then I immediately thought of you when I read some of the stuff on Automata because it's basically there's something about a evil corporation in there. I was like, oh, Josh is gonna love this
Oh my god.
because he
It's
is
the
a
evil
sucker for the evil
corporation, man. They're
corporation,
gonna
man.
get you.
I will say though, I don't know if you've seen it. I do like the album artwork on the Automata albums. Those are kind of cool looking. It's nothing crazy, but it's just kind of like it's
So is
kind of
that
cool
like
looking.
is that the one you're talking about?
What?
Automata?
What about it?
Is that the one you're talking about, that concept?
The corporation deal?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
So,
Because we've got Coma Ecliptic before that.
right. That's the one I was saying something about like the dreams, like watching other people's
Okay,
dreams, like a
that
TV
one's the
show or
dream. I
whatever.
thought you were saying
Yeah.
those
Oh,
are
no,
both
no,
in
no.
the
Two
same
separate.
one.
Sorry. Two
Okay.
separate. Two separate.
I thought
Yeah.
you were like, he was like, what if we could see your dreams? Yeah, and then there's this corporation. I'm like, oh my God.
What? So what do they have to do with the dreams? Nothing.
Nothing, man.
I'll just say it, an evil corporation. You'd be like, okay. Yeah, I don't know. I will say when we're talking about the story of like this one here, Parallax Stories, I mentioned it before. I don't remember who it was we were talking about. One of the things is when I hear music like this, it's very technical and kind of crazy, and it's you get these long songs. It's not very repetitive. It's a lot of like constant change and chaos or whatever and technicality to it. I wonder sometimes about the lyrics, and we talked about his lyrics on the last episode in like Silent Circus and stuff, just kind of being crazy and
Yeah.
weird. And I always think to myself, man, I just wonder if like these lyricists and these bands like this just feel like they have to keep up with the technicality and the craziness of the music. And they're like, my lyrics have got to be crazy and cryptic and because I read his like even like now and like the parallax stuff, and I'm just like, what?
Yeah.
I
Eh?
can't follow a story with this.
Yeah. No.
But I
I
don't know.
feel like reading like halfway through that Parallax stuff, I was like, yeah, I'm not even gonna try.
Yeah. I will say I'm with you. It's a good album overall. I think I agree with what you're saying of, we're still hitting pretty good, overall musically and everything. Forget the story and whatnot. Man, that transition from like Melting City into Silent Flight Parliament. I don't know why, but that makes it feel. I mean, I know you have the reprise track at the end of the album, but it feels like the beginning of Silent Flight Parliament really kind of gives me the feeling of like, okay, this is it. Like this is the final call. This is the final hit, you know. Like, "Yeah, we're doing this now, man." You know.
Yeah.
So I do love that. But it's a good album
There's
overall. Mm.
there's some big moments in
Yeah.
this album for sure.
Yeah. Well, alrighty, that is 2012's The Parallax 2 Future Sequence. Man, I was just out of high school when this came out. Just graduated high school. That's crazy.
Mm.
Ugh, what a time. Touring in support of their newest work would commence alongside bands such as Animals as Leaders, Tesseract, Cannibal Corpse, Veil of Maya, Coheed and Cambria, as well as others. During some of these live shows, the band would perform medleys of some of their older, lesser played songs. I wanted to get your opinion on this, Josh. Have you ever been to a concert that a
On
band
Veil
did
of Maya,
this?
Curtis, I'd love to give you my opinion on Veil of Maya. No, what were you gonna ask me?
Bands playing medleys during live shows. Have you ever experienced that?
I'm sure I have at some point.
Yeah, I just didn't know like what your thoughts were on that, if you had any thoughts really.
Yeah,
I
I don't
don't
care.
really like it. I personally don't. I'd really just go and play the full song. You
Yeah.
know, I and I think to be honest with you, I think my experience comes from Norma Jean. And I knew before going to that concert that they did this because they've been doing it for several years now. But they were trying to remember they did End of All Things will be televised.
I was gonna say,
Um,
did they Tonight the South is on Fire you?
yeah, they did, and that's where it ends, and they change into the next song. They did that, and then they did I Used to Hate Cell Phones from Bless the Martyr, the very end, the
Yeah.
Walking Around Wall Street.
Yeah.
Um, I think they did a third one though before that, before End of All Things. But with Norma Jean, I feel like it's the way the songs they pick are kind of a cop out because they're early songs, especially Cell Phones from Martyr, because they get so many people are like, play Martyr stuff, you know. And they're like, all right, fine, we'll play it, but we're just gonna play a snippet, you know. And it's like,
Yeah.
all right, check the box off. And it's like,
We did
come on,
it.
bro, really? But anyway, I just didn't know if you really had an opinion on it or whatever. But
And that's such garbage too, because like literally none of those people were in the
right, and
band
I know
during
that
that time.
too. Yeah.
Yeah. You know how I feel about that.
Oh, I know. Yeah, I
Drives me
do.
insane.
Maylene, here we come. Later in
I'm
2013,
coming for you.
the band would play a tour entitled The Future Sequence Tour, where they would play an entire set of their newest album all the way through, later choosing to record the live set with accompaniment of additional instruments, including a saxophone, percussionist, flute, and a string quartet, entitling it Future Sequences live at the Fidelitorium. Yes, I think I got that. I think I did. And that, Josh, is where we're going to leave it off until the final episode about Between the Buried and Me. Final thoughts on these four albums, Josh? These four full-length albums.
While I give my thoughts on these four full-length albums, go to Automata 1
Oh boy.
and just listen to the first few seconds of the guitar and synth together on Yellow Eyes
Yellow Eyes. Okay.
because I feel good about the
Okay.
rest of our journey here based on that soul guitar line.
Okay. All right. You go ahead. I'll do my thing.
Colors. Curtis, Colors is where it's at. And then we hold the line with these next three albums. Like I said, I really enjoy a lot of the Southern stuff that they throw in the back half of Colors and Great Misdirect. Just a lot of really solid Southern riffs. I told you I feel like somebody's paying tribute to Maylene with some of those. Um, And then obviously not a huge fan of the story of the Parallax, but you know, it,
Ooh,
we've
ooh.
said that if you keep this all vague enough, then you and I can sit here and speculate about it. So they're at least doing that part of it right.
Bro,
But
you should have gone deeper in that song. There was a nice part, man. Oh, there
some
was a
real
really nice
nasties.
part. There was
I'll just
there's a
hit
real
play.
nice part there. Oh, it's like the part that I'm talking about is it's about 5 minutes 40 seconds in.
Oh, it's a lot further.
Woo! That bass and guitar and the hi-hat going. Oh God. Oh God, that was good. Anyway, jazzy, snashy. Oh, he's listening to it. You hear it? Yeah, he's giving him the yes. Is it a thumbs up? Oh, no, it's a no. Yes, now it's a yes. Smiling yes. Approval? Oh, yes, I think so.
Yeah, that's nice.
Woo, woo. Yeah.
Yeah, I just
Alrighty.
love that. Da-da-la-ba, da-da-la-da.
Right.
He just like
Yeah,
overlays
hopefully.
that guitar note with that like little ethereal tone.
Right. Yeah, hopefully the music just continues to, either stay the same or get better.
I feel like
And I don't
a
feel
lot of
like
the
it
times, Curtis,
would.
these weird changes and stalls come because of a lot of these member changes, you know?
Right.
And with the same group of guys, it's like, okay, we have the formula here, you know? Like, we have the formula. All we
And
got to
good
do is
chemistry
just
too.
not make this stale, you know, not make the
Right.
sound stale. And so far they've managed to do that. So I'm not worried, honestly. I feel pretty safe about the rest of this.
Mm. I
With
have a
Colors
feeling.
2 being their last one, I you gotta hope, you know, like
Right.
that Colors 2 lives up to Colors 1.
I enjoyed it. I've only listened to it one time through, and that was maybe a couple summers ago, I think. And I enjoyed it, but I don't remember. I'll have to go back and listen to it again. I don't remember anything being like, "Oh, this is terrible," or whatever. So
Yeah.
we'll just have to see. I have a feeling after we're done here with this episode, as we close out this episode, I should say, from the way that you're talking, might be a possibility between the Buried and Me might make that top seven.
They might get up there.
It
They
might,
yeah,
man.
with
I don't
those
know.
extra
Hey,
spots, it's
it
anybody's
might make
game,
it.
Curtis.
I don't know, man. You seem pretty happy with yourself here. I don't know. I don't know. Yeah, we'll just have to see. We'll have to come back in the next episode and see.
I have not hated my time listening to this band the last couple of weeks, so
Good, man.
it's
That's
been a
good.
good time.
It's been a nice little walk down memory lane, especially early on with Alaska
Yeah, the
and
first
Silent Second
couple
and
albums
such.
for sure.
Yeah, yeah, same here, man. Well, all right, Josh. If you got nothing else to say, all righty. Let's get on out of here. Make sure to follow us on Twitter at is Survive by Pro for news and the latest episode postings, not just on this show, but our other shows as well. We have the History of the Course After Hours podcast, where I sit down with my good friend and avid listener of this very podcast, Eric, and we talk about some of the bands me and Josh have already discussed. There was a brand new episode that came out this past week, all about the band known as Bury Your Dead. And yes, we brought our shovels along to bury our dead. We also have the Red Right Hand podcast, which has covered all 6 seasons and soon to be a movie about the Peaky Blinders. And hey, Josh, I got something for you.
What you got for me?
It's either this is really it or it's a working title. It's called The Immortal Man.
The Peaky Blinders, the Immortal Man.
Yeah.
Are they going to call it the Immortal Man, a
I think
Peaky
it's going to
Blinders
be,
story?
that's what I think it would probably be.
Okay.
Yeah. What do you think? First thought.
I mean, the title makes me think about Tommy, but
Yeah.
I'd kind of hope that the movie might feature him more as a side
Well,
character
we'll see
rather
though.
than
Yeah, we'll see. Who knows? Maybe it's just a deal of like he's the immortal man. His presence is still felt, even though he's not really so much in this movie.
Right.
I don't know. But anyway, we will have a an update episode coming up here at the beginning of the new year. So be on the lookout for that. We'll talk about some of the different things going on with filming, casting, more about the title, maybe, so on and so forth. And then we also have the Throne of the Dragon podcast, which has covered almost said all 6 seasons,
I
which is
wish.
covered, whoa, which sooner or later, think about that, man.
There'll never be
One
six
day,
seasons of
well,
House of
no,
the
but
Dragon.
okay, how many is there supposed to be? 4, 5?
4.
4. Okay, think about this, Josh. Sooner or later, we'll be going. We have the Throne of the Dragon podcast, which has covered all 4 seasons of HBO's House of the Dragon.
And all 3 seasons of Night of the
Of
Seven
Night of Seven
Kingdoms.
Kingdoms. Yeah, exactly. But no, we have covered season 1 and season 2, eventually season 3 and season 4 of HBO's House of the Dragon. And next summer, season 1 of HBO's A Night of the Seven Kingdoms. But in the meantime, Josh, we're about to have a brand new episode come out in the next couple of weeks. What are we going to be talking about, Josh?
We're talking about Edmure Tully, his impact on the War of the Five Kings, and how he is one of the few left standing, even though in shackles, at the end of
Still
all the
standing.
carnage. Yeah, at the
Still
end
counts.
of the War of the Five Kings.
Cool.
So, yeah, it's kind of he's an interesting character. He
Interesting character
kind
profile.
of turns. He has a hand in turning some different areas of the war, not necessarily in Rob's favor and not intentionally, but
Okay. Nice. Little appetizer there for you. Just come back for more. Get the full thing, man. Also, while you're on Twitter, make sure to follow my co-host at Joshua and Gary. Make sure to leave us a 5-star review, write us a comment on whatever podcast service you're using, and if you want to listen to us and see our smiling faces, head on over to our YouTube. Oh God, to our YouTube page. Just search "Is Survived by Productions." That'll have every episode from all of our shows, which I just described. So you should subscribe to the channel. Then thumbs up that video. Go ahead. It's right. We'll give you a moment. Just go right ahead. Just do it. It'll take you a second. All right, second's over. All right, until the next episode, where we are closing out the year in History of the Chorus podcast with our finishing touches on the band known as Between the Buried and Me. But until then, we'll see you.